What do we even have a name? Is it just Cars 102 or is it?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a snack first.
Welcome to our extremely professional podcast. Please forgive
Yes. Welcome to Cars 102. Today is more bullshit about cars brought to you by nobody's ever going to sponsor us.
this show.
Man, I sure hope Nirvana sponsors us. They're still around, right?
I think you have a pretty decent shot of getting noticed by Kurt Cobain.
If we're on the apparel, I think this sweater is.
I think Courtney Love's just crazy enough to do it.
For on the apparel, I'm the best well dressed out of the three of us.
Yeah, sir. Shravan's literally dressed like he like moved to Puerto Rico and just doesn't have a care in the world.
I totally dressed like I did not forget at all that we were planning on recording a podcast tonight.
even though we've been texting about it for like 6 hours.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So now that we've done that, Shravan, what are your thoughts on the Mustang?
On the Mustang. Wait, which one? The one that I drove like 3 years ago, or?
I mean, they're all does it really matter?
Okay. Well, first of all, pretty much 99.5% of people who actually drive a Mustang, unironically, are brain dead Neanderthals, and like you have to give them the widest berth possible, like on the highway or like anywhere around you. I thought you were
going to say women.
You really came out of the gate firing with that one.
No, but like in all seriousness, I think I've been the person who shits on Mustangs the most out of like all three of us, just constantly. And I really liked like so I toured it for like a week, and what's funny is I'm going back home for the first time in 2 years, like in a month, and there's nothing on Raleigh Durham Turo right now. Like it's all just like this is a car. Like that's all they are. It's like RAV4s and shit. So like the most interesting thing I found, or like it's all Teslas and RAV4s. It's like if you want anything interesting, you have to get a Tesla, which I don't want to do.
You can make the horn into a whoopee cushion and fart at people.
Seems up your alley. Really
I do really like that feature. I think it's funny as hell.
I couldn't believe it actually replaced the horn.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a sound effect inside. It literally farts at people.
Yeah,
imagine becoming the world's richest person by making fart sounds in your car. Anyway, to answer your question, it's surprisingly practical. I mean, it's a car that you could buy as your daily. Like what? You can still get like a brand new one for like what, 24,000 or less, right?
Not in this market, but yeah.
Well, see, but so in this market, I feel like that's just affecting used cars, and like new cars are still fine, but like it's the used market that's really getting.
From what I understand, you can't even get a new Mustang.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's availability for new cars and price for used cars. Because there's no
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, like you still buy a new car at like a fairly regular price. It's just
actually, so you get a warranty.
Let's talk about that. So we technically had a first episode that maybe 4 people watched, if that, and 3 of them were us. And since then,
you guys watched our episode?
I mean, I didn't watch it. You're right.
It was awful.
So no people watched it, but So what's changed since then is that we're still in a pandemic. That hasn't changed. That was during
2 years, man. 2
years. 2 years. We're still living this shit. But yeah. So how long has it been now that the market has been this crazy?
I think it started.
So I got my car in May, and I think it got bad right after that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like it started Q2 2021 is when like started noticing prices were a little weird,
a little bit wonky, and then it's just gotten worse and worse since there. But so it started initially, like let's get the timeline straight, with the chip shortage, right? So the chip shortage is what made stuff go kind of haywire with the new cars, because it would be like, I think I walked into a dealership because I was like interested in looking at a Type R and they just didn't have any. And then I was like, oh, when's the next availability? And they're like, we have no idea. And they're like, you can get a used one at the used lot over there, and they're asking like 47,000 or something insane for it.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah. I feel like the chip shortage wasn't the start. It was something else, wasn't it? Because the chip shortage was like a few months later.
I thought it was chips.
Right?
I thought it was the chip shortage. I don't know what caused but what's caused the used market to go up? Like, is that like
Because there's not new cars to buy.
So then
it's
that
been,
increases the prices of used because you just have the same circulation going around and around.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been a few factors, right? So it's been kind of unique because there was drivers on both supply and demand side. On the demand side, on the supply side, we talked about chip shortage, and then there's all the supply chain mess that happened. So like cars just weren't getting into the country,
right?
Or they weren't getting made. But then on demand side, there was tons of people buying new cars because they just had kind of money sitting around from not doing anything for a year and a half. Plus, there was a lot of people using cars.
The stimmies. What are you gonna do with your stimmy?
Exactly. And then there was tons of people using cars just for like recreation, so like off-road, like overlanding trips and stuff.
Or like buying a Miata and leaving it in your garage for a year straight and not doing anything with it. I don't know anyone who would do that, but
I don't know. It must be like a horrible person to do that. But yeah, pretty much. So like there was lots of people trying to buy cars, like late model cars, and there weren't any new ones coming in. So just anything made in the last 10 years, like the prices doubled over the past like 10 months.
So how does that trickle down to where we are now, where I can go out tomorrow and sell my Miata for more than what I bought it for 3 years ago?
That's Ronald Reagan.
3 years? Holy shit! I've owned the Miata for 3 years, guys.
Isaac's about to get us canceled.
Yeah, but like, how does that happen? Because like, why does that work for like late 2000s cars? When
Yeah, I think it's honestly, I feel like it's just
because if you can't go buy a new car because there's no inventory, then you say, "Screw it, I need a car. My car broke," and you go buy a used car.
Exactly.
And then other people have the same problem, and then you're all fighting over the same used car, and the price goes up.
I wonder what S2000s cost now, because that was like one of the only cars that has been appreciating in value.
Probably costs as much as Supras now.
God, I'll bet. Hang on, let me go to Marketplace.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it is pretty wild. Like there's so many people, and it probably doesn't help that like these big online dealerships.
Oh my god!
Competing for inventory. Did we invite someone else?
I did. Yeah, we have a guest appearance.
Oh, okay.
I just
was really worried for a second. I was like, who the hell is this?
Somebody's Chinese guys hacking in.
Get raided by some random hacker who just starts screaming.
Right.
Well, anyway, yeah. Not gonna finish that thought. Yeah. So there's a 2001 S2000 for $29,000. That's probably not normal. 29,000
mileage.
49,000 miles, which is very, very little. So to be fair, that makes sense.
Is it stock?
That is a good question. Let's find out.
I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of low mileage cars. Well, actually, I'd say I am not a fan of low mileage cars.
Okay, why's that?
Because the problem is like a low mileage car has spent more time sitting than it has driving.
But if it's maintained, then it doesn't matter, right?
But I mean, you're like, if the car's sitting, like it's low mileage, it's not getting all the like rubber bits replaced, like bushings, coolant hoses, the fluids aren't getting circulated, all of that like just degrades so rapidly when it's not being heat cycled.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I feel like low mileage cars just seem to be a disappointment compared to higher mileage but regularly driven and maintained ones.
Okay.
Well, I don't feel like 50,000 is that low.
Yeah, but 50,000 over
50,000 for a 21-year-old S2000 is pretty low.
Yeah, because that's like what, 2,000 miles a year?
About
3,000, around 3,000 miles a year, right?
I'm gonna call it 2,500.
2,523 miles a year.
Are you sure you're an
That's what it
engineer
is.
with that mental pad?
Yeah.
Right. Seriously.
Concerned.
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know, but I
Definitely.
mean, like, how much does it matter if you're still like if you're cycling it and you're changing it and stuff? Is it still matter that it's not necessarily being heat cycled? I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but like, do you think that depends on like the manufacturer and like what country the car's from? Like, I can imagine that might make a difference with like a British or like an Italian roadster versus like a Honda S2000. You know?
I mean, if it's British or Italian roadster, I don't think any amount of miles is gonna make a difference.
That's true, because I mean, if you let it sit for longer, let it sit off for about 4 hours, it's just not going to start back up again.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, Isaac, how is your Alfa Romeo doing?
Oh my
Back.
god, yeah. After your $300 oil change,
Oh my
No,
god!
it was only 180.
Jesus.
That's awful.
$180,
Terrifying.
$180 oil change.
Yep.
Oh my god!
This kid
So-
tried to tell me that they used like the best oil. Like I was like, what
They
the
didn't say the
fuck?
best oil. I'm saying
Yeah.
it's a specific oil.
I
mean,
bet
you
it's
can
not
buy-
the
you can
oil.
buy
Is that
enough-
all?
You can buy enough Royal Purple to fill that Alpha's engine for about $40. Like,
Agreed.
They
Probably.
charge an hour labor to change the oil. I'm concerned about their mechanic's ability to be a mechanic.
No, I was actually gonna say, like, I bet most of that money's in labor because, from my understanding, most of that, like, just changing the oil in those cars is like an enormous fucking pain in the ass
No, it's normal in this.
for the Julias. Yeah.
Well, because the Julia, like the motor is still a variant of the GME T6. I mean, it's a variant of the GME Hurricane motor that goes on the Cherokees. So I mean, if an FCA dealership can do that for $69.99, I'm pretty positive that an Alfa Romeo dealership should be able to do that for the same cost.
He tried to charge me $205, and I said that's a lot. And he's like, I can get it down to 180 for you, and I was like, fuck it.
That's a great.
I'd be
Amazing deal. You've really got one over on them.
I know. I got my $25 in my pocket.
Yeah.
35. Oh no, 25.
God damn
Yeah,
it, dude, your math is awful.
That's really bad. But I mean, I'd be a little suspect if they just immediately knocked like a chunk off the price. Like, oh yeah,
And we're like,
Jackie,
okay, fine, we can take $25. I mean, to be fair, the $25.
How are we gonna keep ripping these boomers off in North Scottsdale?
I bet if you held like a crisp 50 under his nose, he would have taken it.
Who drives the Alfa Romeo Giulia? Like, I want to, like, I'm not saying that like sarcastically. Like, I'm actually asking, like, like, what's the stereotype for an Alfa Romeo Giulia driver?
No one. It's like a shot.
Try hard pharmacist from St. Louis.
Well,
You
he's
know,
not trying very hard considering he's not a pharmacist anymore. So
Please don't put me in any of those
if you start to
categories.
Tell like anybody that's try hard, I think I qualify under the try hard person for a car.
Oh no!
yeah,
what do you drive?
we should probably go around and introduce ourselves and our cars at some point, shouldn't we? Now that we're like, I don't know, about 45 minutes into this affair.
Yeah, screwing around. All right, yeah, Ruho, start. I'm curious now what you drive.
I've got a 1K HP C7Z06.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. No, we've heard the stories. Yeah, so you're up in Seattle, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he goes to Mexico every now and again, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
So close.
I instantly teleport when I hit 60 miles an hour and do a pull. Instantly.
Yeah.
Mexico.
It was a special options package from Chevy back in the
It's
day.
Back to the Future Pacific Northwest version.
True.
And
Shravan, have you gotten rid of that Miata yet?
no, I've not. So I have two cars. I have a 2019 bone stock Hyundai Veloster N with performance package and manual transmission. It's great. I have an '06 Mazda Miata Club or Sport. I still can't figure out which because I don't care. It's also completely bone stock with the exception of the anti-roll bars that are changed out for the RX-8 from the previous owner. Like the RX-8 roll bars, which which firms it up quite a bit. I like it. I bought it in January 2019. I've been talking about selling it forever, and I keep not doing it. I'm currently talking with someone to sell it, and we've agreed on a price. We're kind of just waiting for a couple things to see if we're actually going to do it or not. I'm sort of ambivalent. It would be nice to have money in my pocket. I also like just driving it to get the pre-purchase inspection done. Maybe kind of realize every time I drive that car, I kind of just don't want to sell it. I'm like, actually, why am I selling this again? Just even driving this 25, 30 miles an hour just down the street is fun. It's a good amount of fun. If I do sell it though, good money in my pocket, I will eventually end back up in another Miata, probably an ND2.
Nice. And then your top speed will go from 30 to 35.
To 35 miles an hour with that extra 30 horsepower. That's correct.
Every shift is like slow.
They're like, you know how like aircraft have that little like alarm that goes like pull up. Like the Miata actually comes like pre-installed with the thing that says slow down. Like it has like your mother like in your side seat whenever you go faster than 25 miles an hour, just screaming at you to slow down.
Maybe the hairdresser stereotype is true, because ever since you got it, your hairstyle's completely changed.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, it is
that was the biggest
supposedly a
hidden benefit from the
car,
Miata.
It helped me grow my hair out. Like I guess that's true because I bought it in the beginning of 2019 and started growing my hair out until the end of 2019. So yeah, there we go.
It grew on you.
Yep, it's growing on me.
And then,
but it's a great car, and it really
Italian car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some Adidas Ultra Boosts that usually work. I've just been driving the Hyundai.
What Hyundai do you have?
Elantra N Line DCT.
You know, it's good to see Alfa Romeo paying respect to their heritage by being just as reliable.
Well, as they always were, yeah.
So I've got a new battery.
Add how many miles?
26,000.
Nice.
Almost 26,000.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. I did not realize it was that low. It's only 26,000 miles in how many years?
3.
All right, 3 years is fair enough, but
The clock spring
that's
replacement and
much.
everything would have been $1,000 without the warranty.
oh yeah,
It was like 1,050 or something.
dude,
So don't buy a used one.
I'm definitely. What if I buy your used one? Because I know it has a new clock spring.
Don't worry. I'm sure there's 50 other things that are going to break.
But it has a $180 oil change. It's going to be perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
it's true.
I was gonna say like it has Omega oil.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
straight from the Petronas CEO's own collection.
It's been
This
been
motor oil
personally
better be
blessed
from
by
the
Hamilton.
Rolex collection.
It's really good.
All right, and your other car is the
Yeah.
Hyundai Elantra N Line, right?
Yeah, that's the good car.
That's the good car in your collection.
Yeah.
Alfa Romeo, Hyundai. These are the times we live in now. How many miles do you have on the Elantra now, and how are you liking it?
I'm really liking it. It's only got like 6,500 on it.
But you're like a good like half a year into it now, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's sticking out now that's bothering you like 6 months in that you hadn't noticed when you first picked it up?
Not a
The
thing.
hideous headlights. It's got to be those headlights.
What about the head?
Those headlights look cool. And I think you're thinking of the Sonata, not the Elantra.
I might be thinking about the Sonata actually.
Are you thinking of the catfish headlights? Because those are
With the
that's
catfish,
Sonata.
yeah.
That's the
Oh,
Sonata.
yeah, no. So mine's the Elantra, and then it's all black, so the grill doesn't look weird. I think if I got it in a different color, it'd look kind of funky, but the black ones look good.
I concur. It definitely looks really, really good. And it actually surprised me for how little it costs. I was like, this does not seem like it costs like a 24K car.
Did you get to sit in it, Ruho?
You drove it.
I test drove it.
You drove it?
Vegas, yeah.
What was your opinion coming from the 1,000 brake horsepower Z06?
Yeah, I feel like your
horsepower.
Corvette just numbs you. I feel like your Corvette would just numb you to anything
like any
else.
sensation to speed, like for the rest of your life.
It's pretty surprising because, like, the thing is, like, you get a really huge sense and appreciation for chassis balance.
Okay.
Like, because the thing is, like, power is nothing without chassis balance and also tire, just physical
tire grip, yeah.
road. But I mean, like, overall, the Elantra, I was impressed for how much it cost and for how well it performed for a front engine like vehicle. You can definitely tell the chassis could take way more than what the car was putting down. Definitely, I think the car would benefit more from like better tires because it seemed like the sidewall would roll over a little bit. But other than that was like my only complaint, and like otherwise it was pretty spot on.
What does it come stock with tire wise?
I don't remember.
Because I'm sure it's not Pirelli's.
No.
It's probably Michelin's.
I don't remember, but
Bridgestone's. It's probably some like eco-friendly tire though, isn't it? It's just
Well, it's the N Line. They probably have
Yeah.
one of the sportier compounds on there.
I'm trying to Google it to see if I can find what tires it comes with.
But Ruhab, the other question for you is, how does the transmission coming from your Z06 going into so the N Line has the DCT, right?
Yeah. And is the Z06 a manual?
No, my Z06 it's an A8 torque converted trans, but the thing is, like, my trans isn't stock anymore. It's on a billet gear set and it's on a high stall torque converter, so it's way different than what it would come out stock.
Nice.
Overall, I would say the Elantra's shift points, like, I mean, they're fast. They're very fast. In terms of like how quickly it shifts, like you hit the paddles and it's there. It's gone. No like, weird, like odd, clunky shifts or anything like that. I would say it's very good. It's very controllable in manual mode.
So is the Hyundai's like dual clutch? Like, is it proprietary or is it lifted from something?
No, it's theirs.
So they just like straight up like built a dual clutch transmission the last 2 years.
They built two. They put one in the N Line. They put a different one in the full blown N.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So does the N share the same dual clutch as the Veloster N?
Probably.
Okay.
So mine's a 7-speed, and the other ones are 8 speeds.
That's so stupid.
Albert Bierman is really pulling
Retiring.
It's retiring. Damn.
Oh, that's gonna be sad.
What?
Hyundai's gonna go back to making like pathetic little econo boxes.
Yeah.
No, but like a lot of people have like
Factual
compared
way
it
to
to
put it.
like a lot of people have compared it to like the ZF, the PDK, and say like it stands like toe to toe with them. I, having driven a PDK, think could believe that because it did not impress me, honestly.
Well, let me tell you, the Giulia has a ZF, and I prefer the transmission in the Hyundai.
There you go.
But for the ZF is also a super broad application transmission. Like depending on how it's set up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very true. I can agree to that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, so like it definitely. So the ZF gearbox is definitely. You see a ton of different applications because like one of the largest applications or the most common one that we see in the shop for a ZF is going to be all the Hellcat products.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make that shift incredibly fast and incredibly hard. It's very quick off the line. The ZF is no joke. When it's done correctly, it's a monster, and it can take a ton of torque without braking, which is really impressive too.
Yeah, because I think even the Demon has a ZF box, doesn't it?
Yeah, correct. So the all the Hellcat Demon products, the Ghoul products, they're all on the same ZF, gearbox, just because a torque converter can take all the torque all day long and not just crap itself out. Yeah. Now the differential, on the other hand, that's a totally different story. But
I mean, it's a differential on an American car. I mean, it'll take like 20 minutes and $20 to swap out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the differential on my Z06, I think, from factory is like $700. So even if I like crap it out entirely, oh well, $700.
Wait, really? That's it?
Yeah, the American.
Wow, now I'm mad. Like I paid more than that to rebuild the diff on my Escalade.
My differential and like my billet differential on my Z06 costs. Oh no, my billet trans, like full billet shaft, input shaft, output shaft, gears was only $3,500.
Still laughing because I forgot you drove a fucking Escalade.
The 5'5" brown guy. Come with a booster seat
like,
for
he's
you,
like the
or,
hardest dude in the world. You look over to see Beru, it's like gosh, like
Yeah, it's I literally like take up half of the seat space, like half of the seat. in that thing. It's great.
Who let
I
that
have
child drive?
I have to stretch to reach the armrest.
God.
I imagine they're only even bigger now.
Oh yeah,
Probably,
Yeah.
I think.
so
They're-
did you
they're-
get
Isaac, you sit in the front of that new
Yeah.
Suburban?
Yeah, so I
Haven't-
was in the new GCL yesterday.
That one's pretty smexy.
It's
GTL.
yeah, the Grand Cherokee L.
Oh, got it.
I'd say it's pretty even with like the Tahoe Suburban interior. I wouldn't have a preference from one to the other.
what's the L? Is it like one of the
Long
sportier models?
wheelbase or something.
Oh, okay. So it's not like on like their sportier like series, like it's not like a Trackhawk or something like that.
No. It's just
Okay.
it's on their global marketing platform. It's
Okay.
just a longer. I think it's longer than the standard one by like 6 inches or something like
Oh,
that.
it's
It's pretty
huge.
massive, yeah.
One.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra length there.
Yes, that's a lot of length.
That's what she said.
Has anyone checked out the new Wagoneer in person?
No.
I've been kind
I
of
don't
curious.
even- I don't
about
even
The
know.
Wagoneer.
Yeah, because
Oh
isn't
my
it like bigger than a Suburban?
Yeah. So okay, it's kind of funny. So like I Seattle was actually holding a launch event, like a press event for their employees at the FCA dealership in Everett. And I just randomly was getting an oil change, and I was the only customer in there because they randomly allowed me because I was the only guy that was interested in the Grand Wagoneer because they actually they were like, oh, you know what this is? Come in. And they were like, oh, yeah, come sit in it. It was so bizarre, but I was talking to a bunch of guys from like the Michigan team, development team, and it's a really nice product. So they were teaching their employees about like the new Global V platform Escalade. They also have the Ford. Actually, it was the Lincoln Navigator, and part of the Wagoneer was the most stable in terms of like handling and stuff like that because it actually drives pretty flat in comparison to the other two.
Huh. That's pretty surprising because the thing's massive. Like I used to have a 90 Suburban, like 21 feet long, and I still find the Grand Wagoneer intimidating from a size perspective.
It was more compact than I originally thought it was going to be. This is kind of weird to say, but the trim that I sat in had 20-inch wheels, and it looked tiny on the frame because it didn't look right. It needs like 22s or something like massive like that to look correct.
From when I've seen it on the road, I can't really tell it from the Grand Cherokee.
Why would you put 20s on this thing? I'm looking it up right now. Is that
So it
seems
doesn't look-
wildly impractical?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the new electric Silverado comes with 24-inch rims.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Shravan, when we're like 57,
Yeah.
we're gonna be like on 30s. You'll
Yeah,
know-
literally-
You will feel literally
Realize
everything on the
just
road,
wheels.
and you will enjoy it the whole way.
Wow, this ride quality is so much worse than when I was younger. Yep,
Yeah.
look how good it looks.
Wow, I felt every inch of that pothole. Amazing. Really
Yeah,
glad
Yeah,
I.
Williams is about crazy.
You know, there's a pretty decent sized like dip in the road right in front of my apartment, and I was surprised when I was driving the Grand Sport. I felt that dip a lot less than like when I'm in the Julia. I was pretty surprised.
That's mag ride for you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dude,
but a
I
lot of
love-
the rest of it was not super smooth.
Magride is like I feel like one of the most like underappreciated technologies out there right now.
Yeah, I would definitely.
I've heard so much about it. I just don't know anything about it.
It's pretty cool. So it's basically, the shock absorber fluid has these like metal filings in it, and there's electromagnets at the end. So the car, based on some sort of sensor setup, depending on the vehicle, can sense what sort of roads ahead, and it also takes input from like how you're driving, and then it can progressively like stiffen or soften individual shock absorbers.
No, that's nuts.
Yeah,
that's like Miata will have it in 20 years, so you'll get to experience it in 30.
And they've been using it for a long time. they've been putting Magrite on the Escalade since 2008.
I was gonna say, like, I know it's an older technology, but that kind of reminds me of like what's Hyundai working on like right now, where they have like the like smart transmission technology, or I don't know if it's Hyundai or someone else, where they basically use the cameras to map like the road ahead and then determine like where the most optimal shift points for everything are, and automatically do like all that for you. And it's like, why would you put this in a car and someone who's probably not going to drive in this transmission? And if they have this transmission, they're not going to be driving it in automatic mode for where it's most useful.
Fuel efficiency, probably. Try to meet those new cafe standards. I feel like we're gonna see like automakers get super creative with fuel economy over the next like 10 years. Because when are those new cafe regulations going in, like 4 years from now or something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, there's so many auto manufacturers too that have like pledged to be all electric by like whatever that time is too. It's like Hyundai supposed 2025 or 2030, depending on the manufacturer. I think Honda's 2025. I think Hyundai is 2030 or 2025. I don't know. There's a bunch of them that are all like, yeah, we're electric only by X year.
Ruha, what if Rob can't beat the Honda Civics anymore when they're electric?
Oh my fucking god! Holy crap! Okay, so story of the day. So like, Rob was like, "Yeah, dude, let me take you on a test drive, of this of my new Tesla Model 3 long range," and then so she was like, "Yeah, he like punches it and he like looks over at me, to like get my overall facial expression, and I think he keeps forgetting that I have a 1K car." HP car, and then he's just like looking at me trying to be like, yeah, this is really fast, right? And I'm just like, oh yeah
and it's like completely silent, so it doesn't feel like anything.
Yeah. What motor is it? Was it the did you say it was the P100 or
no, it's just the Model 3 long range dual motor.
So it's like a 65 or something, if that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So they're probably. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're quick, but that is probably not.
They're like 260 horsepower or something.
What's their 0 to 60?
It's not slow. I mean, it is quick, but it doesn't feel like anything because it's silent and there's no shifts, and it's just
It's overall. I mean, like for me, because like the thing is, like after being in a high horsepower car, like I have problems like measuring 0 to 60 times. I mean, like primarily. I look at now are like 60 to 130.
60 to 120.
Yeah. Like, I mean, overall, I'm gonna say like the mid range on that vehicle from like a 30 to like a 65 pole isn't bad, but I mean, relatively. Then again, you're only doing a 30 to 65 pole. It's not like
which is not that long. There's not much time for the.
It's really quick though, because you don't have to have a transmission figuring out that you're flooring it. You just go.
Yeah, you just. I will agree with that. But the thing is, the lack of noise and then the overall interior build quality just makes me like want to puke.
The interior build quality is not good. I think I had a P85 or P90 that I toured for a week once, and it was pretty quick. But this was before I was driving like any kind of performance vehicles at all. But so for me, it was like, oh my god, what the hell? But
well, anyways, here's the story: is he finds these riced out fart can Civics and then races them in his Model 3. He's like, I'm so fast.
Oh my god.
He's like so proud of himself when he beats one. He's like, yeah, dude, like I roasted that Ricer Civic, and I was like, oh, I thought he was kidding in the beginning, and then he was so proud of it. I was like, wow, okay, yeah, that's really good, man.
I mean, you roasted that Ricer Civic, but showed pretty sure 5 other mom vans did too at the lights.
Yeah. Mom van, also the other name for the Tesla Model 3.
I can't wait for him to come across like a Honda Odyssey and lose.
Oh my god! Dude, it was
I
so
wanted
funny
to find the one Honda Odyssey Type R that like
Yeah.
someone has
Yeah.
It was like some
inevitably.
lifestyle Honda minivan thing, and I was like, I lost.
Like, oh, I bet this guy thinks he's really cool because he put a spoiler on his Honda Odyssey and it's like actually like 1,000 horsepower or something.
Isn't there that one dude based out of SoCal who has like a 1K Honda Odyssey?
Oh, hopefully Rob finds him then. He's in San Diego.
Yeah, there it is. That's who we need to send up to Seattle.
That's who we just send to Rob to race in his Tesla Model 3.
Oh yeah, Rob's in San Diego, so it's already
Oh,
perfect.
perfect, exactly.
Oh, true.
You know what's really sad though is that like I asked Rob, I was like, so have you tried racing like any Mustang or Camaro? He's like, yeah, I haven't really found one yet. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you haven't found one? I'm like, they're everywhere, man.
Go to any interstate in any city and you will find a Charger carving up traffic.
Exactly.
Oh my god, yeah.
I didn't actually see a lot down there whenever I've been down there. American Muscle's not very popular in San Diego.
That's so
Compared to a lot
bizarre.
of places. Not saying
What
they're
about-
rare, but compared to other
What about
places.
Corvettes though? I feel like a lot of people will drive Corvettes there.
I don't know. I haven't. Isaac, what's your take on that?
Everything's either a Model 3 or a Civic. There are no other vehicles.
That's so tragic.
Damn.
I'm gonna say like a solid like double-digit percentage are those.
I'm surprised that they're not more Corvettes though, because like I feel like the C7 and C8 are able to get away with pretending that they're not American muscle in terms of how they're like styled and
There's so many
fashioned.
C8s here. I'll tell you that.
I
every day.
believe that. I believe that.
You know, I'm almost like too embarrassed to tell you guys the reason. Isaac knows the reason why I got my Corvette, but I'm almost too embarrassed to tell the story because, like, it's so destructive to my like core and manhood that it's slightly painful. So like,
Okay.
what happened was that I
Hold on, Shravan, you have to brace yourself for this story because it might hurt your dream car here.
Oh no.
I like this intro.
I had I was like, you know, originally this thing kind of all started out when like me and Isaac, like, you know, in St. Louis before we graduated, tested out a C43 and I was like, holy crap, you know, this thing's got so good power. Like, because I was coming from an IS 300 then, you know, back then. That's all like, you know.
That was the one, the engine you blew up and told me never to stick a more in, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So like the Infinity Q, I ended up buying a 2018. I leased it. I leased a 2018 Q60 RS, a Red Sport, right? It had 400 horsepower, and then
The engine from the new 400Z.
yeah, the engine from the new 400Z, right?
So, okay, cool.
I got a burger tuning piggyback to up the boost, so I could, you know, do some like street racing and whatnot. So
right.
I was like,
In
you know,
Mexico.
In Mexico.
yeah, exactly, in Mexico, and like I thought it was
That's
hot
the
shit
same
back
time.
then. Dude, I thought it was such hot shit. Like I would race people and be like, "Oh my god, this thing's so fast!" And then when like, you know, I was like going downtown, you know, and then I had Nalda in the passenger seat. And you know, I was like, this Subi, like this riced out Subi with a fart can, like massive muffler comes like to my side, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I got this. I was like, oh, I'm gonna show this dude up. Literally, like we do the 3 honks, and then like I take off, and I'm like, oh god, like the moment he took off, like I knew I had made a mistake. I was like, I fucked up, because like this dude literally smoked the crap out of me, and then Nalda just turns to me and goes, were you even accelerating? And I'm like, oh my god. I got roasted by my own girl there, and I was like, literally at that point, I was like, nah, dude. I was like, I gotta sell this. I'm done. I was like, I can't get embarrassed like that again. That was too painful to take, and so like, literally,
So
like
for that reason, he spent over what's probably $100,000 by now. On
yeah, exactly. Yes. That fueled my my build. So
It's
like,
one of the most expensive stories you've ever heard.
what is the most incredible yet stupidest villain origin story I think I've ever heard in my life?
the moral of the story is I got gapped, and then I promised myself I would never get gapped again.
This literally is a super villain story.
Yeah, that's why. It's what's funny is I love when people are in
the tunnels of Seattle.
I love when people are like, "Oh yeah, my car's so fast, I'm gonna show people up." Like, and there's like the other people on the other end of the spectrum with me. It's like I like to pretend I feel fast, but like really, I'm gonna show you how fucking slow my car is. Like this Miata 0 to 60 at some point, like.
Damn, Corolla rolling up on me? That's a good ride.
Yeah, I got this. I think I got this. I worked up my way to this.
Oh, a Prius? I don't want that smoke. That's got some electric stuff going on. It's too quick.
Oh my god.
Even the Velocity's not that fast. I am thinking of speaking of piggybacks. I keep going back over and over to the idea of like piggybacking a JB4 or something to it, and seeing if I can't get like 15 to 20 extra horsepower out of it. Like it's not slow. It feels good, but it's just like I feel like when I'm like actually going wide open throttle, I'm not getting what I hoped I would get. You know,
dude, it's crazy. So like the reason why I ended up blowing the motor up on my Q60 RS is because I had a JB4 with burger tuning.
I know.
But the problem was that like basically the JB4 doesn't change. Dude, back then I had no idea what the hell I was doing with tuning and stuff. So I was like, you know what, like throw all the boost at it, like, you know. I was
God.
I just quickly Googled, I was like, what's a good AFR to be at? And then it was like 14.5 to 15 should we like where it should be at. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'll just like throw a ton of boost at it and make it do 14.5 to 15. Like, God knows, like when you're at wide open throttle, you need to be at like 12, not 15. Like, so I was like running the car super fucking lean, and like basically I was eating motor oil. Like I think it was consuming 2 quarts of motor oil every 100 miles. That's how bad it was.
And did you melt a cylinder wall too at that point?
Man, those $180 are gonna head up fast.
I kid you not. Like, I kept taking it back to the dealership, and they're like, "We can't figure out what's going wrong. I think we might have to lemon your car." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, like, lo and behold, like I traded my car in for my C7 Z06, and the guy who took ownership of it, I think what happened was that he crashed the car, but I'm pretty sure he crashed it on purpose because the motor was literally dying when I traded it in, and nobody knew a thing about it because like I traded to a Chevy dealership that's obviously had no idea what the heck an Infinity motor is even about, right? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, like what's really sad about it was that like I had gotten rear-ended in that car twice. And they gave me over the appraisal cost by like $2,000 because they couldn't sell the C7 Z06 on their lot at all. And so they ended up giving me like $5,000 over what I was asking. And they're like, dude, the sales guy was like, if you don't take this car, nobody will take this for the next 6 months. So they're like, the guy was literally like, we had nobody like
please drive this car off the lot.
I know,
literally begging you to buy his car.
No, I see this car in my nightmares every day.
The guy literally was like, we've sold 5 Corvettes in the last 2 years. He was like, if you don't buy this thing, nobody will buy it for like another 6 months. He was literally begging me. He was like, dude, please just get this. I'm like, he like kept giving me discount after discount, thinking like I was joking. I was literally like, give me 10K off the car. He's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, like, uh-oh.
That's like
different times, like 2-3 years ago. It was so different.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Like every like older brown man's like fantasy come true. It's like, give me 10K off of this, like okay, like give me another 2,000 off, like okay,
right,
dude. It was wild.
Love a one-sided negotiation.
Just listen to the sound of the entirety of India just like stomping over to the front of that dealership like immediately.
Everyone's buying Corvettes now.
but to like put this deal into perspective, like I bought this car in October of 2019, and this car was a 2017 production model, but the thing is, it was a late year production model, so it was actually produced in December. So the previous owner had only had this car for about a year and like 7 months, and had only put 9,000 miles on it. And he, like, the original MSRP on the vehicle was 106K, and I bought it for 63 after only 1.5 years.
I love it. You see, that's why you got to buy used. Like the depreciation. You know, not even if we don't include all of your ridiculous discounts, like that is still a steal. Even at 80K, that's like a big savings for a car that's pretty much new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some batshit crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you immediately started modding it.
No. Here's the moral of the story, okay? I got gapped again. So that's the
Oh,
feel
so that's okay.
freaking thing. Okay. So like after I got this car, I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm like tough shit, right? Because like I like as soon as I got the car, like literally a McLaren, I think it was a it was a 650. A 650 came up and pulled up beside me. It was a rental actually, and I raced that, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm like keeping up, man, with the McLaren. This is so good." Like like my confidence is up there. My balls are enlarged, whatever you want to call it.
And then the McLaren put the gas pedal down and gapped it. And gapped
No,
it
he actually didn't. Surprisingly, I actually kept up with him. But the thing is, the thing that destroyed my confidence, okay, was one night again. I was gonna go pick up Nalda from the airport in the Vette, and I was like, this random like Mustang. I at the time, like when he pulled up next to me, I didn't realize it was a Roush, and so like I was like, dude, I got this. And then like he does the three honks, and like I'm like, oh, I really got ripped up the butthole on this one because he got me bad. It was like more than a football field, I want to say, in terms of a gap. By the time I hit like 120, he was like gone.
It's a reach,
and I was like, my confidence is down again. And literally the very next week, I was at the tuner shop, and I was like, I need a tune, bro. I was like, I got wrecked. Literally the thing that keeps fueling my freaking upgrades is getting gapped every time, and I haven't gotten gapped yet, so that's a good thing.
What happens when like we play Ruhao and Forza Motorsport, like and actually like built cars and like put him in just like a stock car, and then he gets gapped again, and then ends up putting another $250,000 into the same Z06 in real life. Like, no, guys, you understand? Like, I got gapped a third time in Forza Motorsport, so I had to go back and spend more money.
This is how we end up with him with like a twin turbo Aventador or something.
He ends up with the actual only Sesto Elemento.
And then recently Isaac had the great idea of like taking a ride and then sending us through a tunnel with the roof off, so we both went extremely deaf. He was like, yeah, dude. He was like, we're really gonna ride with the roof off. And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't think you realize how loud this thing is, but okay.
I don't regret it.
That's pretty good.
I'm probably gonna have like tinnitus when I'm older from it, though.
Just from that one experience.
That was
yeah. It was. I couldn't hear for like a solid minute afterwards.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, dude, it's pretty crazy though, because like we ended up doing like 160 through this entire 2-mile tunnel, like the entire way.
In Mexico.
Yeah, exactly, in Mexico. Yes, indeed. And we lost the front windshield too on the run too, because I guess somebody kicked up a rock. I think the Camaro in front of us kicked up a rock, and we just totally shattered the front windshield.
Oh.
I mean, at that kind of speed, I would think that the rock would go through the windshield and through the back window too,
and like into your skull and immediately.
I'm not dead, so I didn't do that.
The crazy part is like
the window cracked until we saw it afterwards because the tunnel was so loud that we didn't hear the rock just take one straight in our face.
That's not.
That's
I bet you also believe the moon landing happened.
Good way to go out.
The funniest part of it all, just all the other like normal people driving around in the tunnel who like think the world is ending, and they're all like
some poor mom's just like trying to do grocery shopping with like 3 of her shitty ass kids in the back seat. As we like we're out playing Need for Speed next to her. Just like runs by.
The funny thing is, like,
I've seen that on my son's TV.
In a Civic.
Oh man!
All of this because of
all because of a WRX.
Dude, it's really bad. The funny thing is, like, I think I get PTSD because I clearly remember this entire race with that. like Subaru. It was so traumatizing to me that I don't even like the honks. Oh god.
I've never locked.
It's
I was
like
got like
pivotal
his first
moment.
kiss
He's
and
gonna-
then getting gapped by his WRX.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
He's
like,
gonna
yeah,
be like,
die,
on
and
his,
it's like,
gonna be like on
I-
his deathbed. They'll be asking him like, "So what do you regret most?"
like I never raced that WRX ever again. I spent like $3 million on this Z06
Trying to
so I
grab
could
the signal.
take the so I could take this Subaru to Applebee's, and I never found him again.
I spent all these nights driving around Seattle trying to find him.
I don't get it. You're supposed to, if you do burnouts in traffic lights, that's what Need for Speed taught me. You're supposed to be able to retile your old challenges that way.
Well, you're never gonna see him again because his head's warped. It's burning more coolant than fuel now.
Oh my god! You know, I think
I'm
the
thinking
most
of
thing
modding,
about that
but-
entire race is
The
literally
ultimate
after
Subaru
I pulled up
legacy.
next to him again, he waved me by. He didn't even want to rerun. I was like, oh my god! I was like, dude, I'm so done with this.
That's just insulting. Holy crap!
Yeah, I was like, that was just straight disrespect. I was like, I was like, my manhood is gone.
That's it. Like he's like, you're not even worth the time, man.
That's
Just
pretty
a
much
waste of
what I
fuel.
did to the dart that tried to race me, dude. It's in like a
What- so
manual
what-
Dodge dart with like the
I do the
slowest ships on
opposite.
earth.
What'll happen is like Mustangs or whatever will pull up and try to race me because they're like, oh, you're in this like really dope looking like
Yeah, really
black red
dope
or
looking.
whatever. Well, everyone everyone who drives any car that even looks like it's an enthusiast car like always tries to pull along because I'd be like wave or whatever. So what'll usually happen is like someone will be like at a light with me and like they'll look at me and they'll do the thing and I'm like, oh okay, cool, I totally want to race right now. So I shift into N mode and then like let the exhaust like crackle and pop and then when the light turns green I just go back into eco mode and just drive normally. They're like screaming down at like 45 miles an hour and I'm like, all right, cool, I can have the right lane back. That's dope.
You are the worst kind of person.
I'm not trying to race all the time.
Oh my god!
I can't wait till you get Bruhal. He's like in his Grand Cherokee and he supercharges it.
Oh my god! Watch
racing my Jeep again.
Like in 15 years, like Ruhal pull up to the traffic light next to me in his actual Mercedes W12, like with like a race suit and everything. He'll have trained with Lewis Hamilton for like 5 years for this moment, and I'll rev the engine and be like, "Yeah, we're racing, dude. You've worked so hard for this moment. The light will turn green." And we'll go into eco mode and take a right turn and leave.
Pulls into CVS.
Oh my god! Actually, there was this one kid in a brand new RS3 who thought he was like hot shit. Basically, he had like a ton of girls in the car, and I had Nalda in the car too because like we just came back from I just picked her up from work, and this dude is like screaming down the 405. And like I was like, oh yeah, this dude probably wants a challenge. And I was like, he had a burble tune, so I was like, oh, maybe he's got some stuff because RS3s aren't slow if they're like twin turboed correctly. And so I was like, you know what, I'll give this guy the hit, and then I'll see what he's about. I gave him the hit, and I think I gapped him within like a couple seconds by like maybe 4 semi trucks length. And I was like, oh, this is pure disrespect. So I literally let off, and then I let him catch back up, and then he was like one more run, and then like on this next run, I was like, nah, I'll just take the hit. And then I'll seriously give him the sauce. I just gave him all the sauce, and I was like, yeah, he's done for.
No.
You forgot to put the no fat chicks.
No
Bed frame
Oh
on the
my
car.
god.
Clearly the difference.
Terrible.
You got that, and you've got to have the gas grasser ass.
Yeah, there we go.
Imagine
Class
driving an
C's,
Audi and
decals.
thinking you're cool.
I do kind of like the RS3 though.
It's just,
I like
it's just
the
a
Seattle
dull
car.
car, isn't it? Isn't it?
The RS3 has that cool like lime green color, doesn't it?
Huh.
Does it?
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Anyway, I've never met someone who drove an Audi on the highway who didn't make me like want to like pulverize them.
Oh, it does have
like
that green
physically
color.
with my bare hands because they were such an asshole on the road the whole time.
Audi?
Yeah,
I
Audi.
don't know. I think you should tell that to the Dodge Ram driver that Isaac cut off in the comments.
Oh God, how did that go for you?
What?
We got a very
Like,
good view of his middle finger.
What did you cut him
cut
off
his nails
in?
recently, so that was good.
Hey, I
literally
mean,
just got done kart racing, and then
Dodge
Isaac,
Ram
like,
owners, man.
like,
They
floors
cut their nails with
He
axes.
hit 100.
I didn't know where the exit was. I was just trying to figure out where I'm going. I'm not from that city. This dude's like taking it personally that a Corvette pulled in front of him on an exit.
He took it so horribly. He was like so mad. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Dude, today I was like getting off the highway, and I was like 3 cars back, and we were pulling up to like the left turn signal. It was a left green arrow, and it was green for a long time. And it turns yellow, and the lady up front starts slowing down, and the dude in front of me did not like that. He like held on the horn for like 35 fucking seconds because she came to a complete stop. And in his defense, like she should have gone because it was yellow for an extraordinarily long time. But like it's red, their car's going like back and forth. He's still holding his horn this whole time. Then he lets up and then does it again for like another 25 seconds. It's like, dude, like you act like you've never like waited at a red light before. Like I was kind of mad, but now you're just like now you're making me feel bad with the fact that I was mad about this at all.
She deserved it. She deserved people who like suddenly break at yellows are the worst.
But my favorite part is how this lady reacted. she just took like my Velocitran approach of like like just not even like engaging at all. Just did not pay attention. Was just like looking at her nails and just like doing them the whole time. I'm like, all right. Like I was mad that you didn't let us go on the screen light, but now I kind of like you because it's just like the whole time, like in the mirror, like clearly can hear the horn that has been blasting nonstop for half a fucking minute. This does not engage at all.
I feel like people just enter like, all right, fuck you mode, you know? Like, so you want to be? Veer, do you have a vehicle in India?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah. We have a 2012 Suzuki like hatchback. I'll send you a picture.
Oh, I was really hoping you were gonna say a moped.
We have one of those too. We have both. But yeah, no, it's like a little tiny. It's like literally tiny Suzuki hatchback. Has like a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine that I did like random things to get 80 horsepower out of. That's it. But yeah, it's like so much fun to drive because the thing weighs nothing. It weighs 1 ton, and it's got a manual. And I really like the transmission in this thing. It's so crisp. Like I actually like it more than the Miata transmission.
Damn, that's saying something.
But yeah, no, it's like tiny, super light, just like a city car, right? Because we live in the city.
All right. Yeah.
But it's so much fun to drive, and like it does decently well. Like so, we did like over New Year's, we drove up to the mountains like a few hours north of here, and on the way like came like the last bit of our journey was like proper twisty mountain road. And it was so much fun, just throwing it around. And the funny part is, like, it's like anyone, like I was talking about, anyone else, like any other vehicles who were seeing the way I was driving on that road, who like did not know me and did not know how much time I spent like driving crazy roads and stuff, would think I was insane. Because like there was this one dude in front who had like a Suzuki Swift, which had like probably like twice as much horsepower and stuff, and like bigger, more stable, and all that. And he really thought that he was not holding me up until I passed him and just lost him in like 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
In like the slowest car ever, just because. I'm just used to it.
I don't know, man. Slow cars are fun because, when they're done right, like, and speaking as like the resident Dr. Slow, which was my name in the group chat for the longest time up until like we started doing all the F1 names.
You'll get over it, Dr. Shitter, don't worry.
I still, yeah, I love that. I love that you gave the two of us like normal names and then gave Dr. Cheddar. Like what?
It's because he knows that I find. It's because he knows he can make me giggle by saying the word shitter at any given opportunity. That's literally the only reason, I guarantee you.
Yeah, that is exactly why.
But like, I think any car that's like sufficiently small enough and like built well, and especially like with good like tires, and whatnot, can be a lot of fun. Because if they're slow, but you never have to slow.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
The interior on the Swift looks so similar to like the Volkswagen interiors.
They probably stole some design. They probably did. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, it looks just like a Jetta or a GTI inside.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I want? I want an e-Golf. I actually want an electric car, like not as a joke.
No, I'm with you. In a few years, like I would probably like to have an electric car just for like daily use.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do want a daily drive that is A to B and like get the groceries or whatever. That's fully electric. So I was looking at some prices, and they're not too bad. It's just like I'm still keeping the N and maybe keeping the Miata. Who knows? I'll probably still be selling the Miata in like 3 years. It's fine.
Just trade the Miata for an MR2.
How much parking space you got?
I have a 2-car garage now in my new place. So
you can park like a couple more in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the way it works is because it's a condo. It's like enclosed garage, like separate garages. So it's like 3 that face this way and 3 that face the other way. So I mean, that's not to say that I couldn't just park in front of my garage and just block it forever. But I don't think that they.
You don't have one of those garages that goes underneath your condo?
No, it's a very small building. It's not like a big like fancy like association or anything. It's literally just a building with 4 units in it, and that's it.
Yeah, but like in that area, you can just like park on the street anywhere too.
I can. I do have street parking. Yeah, so I could just keep my shitter, my shitter electric car, just on the street, and like my actual like real cars that I care about in the garage.
I'm waiting for someone to make like a nice, fun like small EV, like because right now the only EV that I can say I actually want is the Lucid Air.
I don't care much for Lucid Air.
Care. Yeah, I don't care much for it. Okay, like actually, what are your guys's? What?
How do you not care for it?
Let me look at
it.
It
is
again.
so nice.
It's because they lost a ton of money on their stock. That's why I don't care for it.
It's super heavy. There's no reason to get it over a Taycan.
They're always going to be heavy though. Like all
the Taycan is good.
No, it's real heavy.
Yeah, but I mean it's real heavy because it has like a massive battery pack. I think it's like 500-mile range or something like that.
The EV that I'm the most excited for is the F-150 Lightning.
That's a good one. That's a good one though. Like that's actually a really good like use case for electric vehicles. I think that hasn't been fully explored and would be interesting to see because because of how big a pickup truck is going to be, you're going to have inherently that much more space for a sizable battery. I mean, giving pickup trucks a shitload of power makes sense inherently for assuming you're using it as intended. And even if not, I'm sure people have fun with really powerful pickup trucks. I still want to drive a Raptor. That's the
only the Hummer was popping wheelies. The EV Hummer was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in like pre-production.
Nice.
I mean, rationally speaking, you have a good argument, but irrationally speaking, the F-150 Lightning is tell me you're from St. Louis without telling me you're from St. Louis.
And also live in Arizona where there's also a billion pickup trucks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember the last episode and Isaac called them pick-em-up trucks?
he does do that.
That's what they are. Pick them up.
Has Arizona changed him that much that he doesn't call him pick-em-up trucks?
I don't know what I'm the most excited for. I think like I basically just decided that like I'm morally opposed to Tesla, the company, existing. Just because, like, I'm so fucking sick and tired of Elon Musk so much that if everyone who worked there was suddenly no longer employed under dubious circumstances, it would make me happier as a human being.
Damn.
All right.
No,
Yeah, he really kind of went for the jugular.
I'm sorry. I fucking hate Elon Musk so much. He's just such a piece of shit. But I don't know. I'm not really excited for a particular EV as opposed to like just the EV versions of normal cars becoming like more and more like normalized. Like things like the Accord EV, the e-Golf, I mean, I guess like if you're gonna talk about the luxury space, like what is it called, the Audi like Q-tron or whatever the fuck, like just like there's like whatever, it's Audi, it doesn't matter. They just more things like that. Like when I googled like luxury cars like that I could buy, there's still like BMW i3 and like just tiny hatches.
How about Hyundai Ioniq 5? What is this thing?
What is that thing?
It looks basically like a hot hatch EV.
Oh, dope! I'm getting that. All right, see y'all. Actually, it looks like a normal ass car. That's the best. Like I just want like a normal car, but it's electric. That's all I want.
If you buy the Audi e-tron, then you're gonna be Dr. Shitter forever, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure e-tron in French actually means shit. So
I go to Google Translate. No, isn't it married?
It is married, yeah.
Yeah, it's married.
No, not like shit as in like the expletive, like I think feces.
Caca is poop.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of excited for the Polestar. That seems kind of interesting. It's just
it's in the mall up the street from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks like a normal Volvo.
It looks like a normal Volvo, but like
they're such good-looking cars.
It is, but this is like stepped up a notch though. Like this is like clearly meant to. I think they're trying to eventually.
It's not the G-Wagon. It's the same freaking design language.
It is not the G-Wagon. It looks like a normal car. The G-Wagon looks like an asshole. Like I don't know what else to tell you.
Wait, how do you think any of the new Volvos look like a G-Wagon?
It's like the boxiest thing out there.
They look so much better.
No.
Sleek and sharp. Like the G-Wagon
is not a boxy. Is not the same thing as literally a fucking box, and you put wheels on it.
Yeah, dude, the Volvos are nice, and honestly, of like all new cars, Volvo.
You guys just don't want to face the truth that a car that you don't like looks like a car that you like.
They
don't look the exact same, but the design language is very similar.
I don't know.
I think I would rather have a Volvo like one of the 90 series Volvos over a G-Wagon.
I never want a Volvo again.
They're so nice. The interior.
Talk about a car that's horrible reliability and a pain in the ass to fix, and coming from the Giulia, oh my god.
Yeah.
How have I had so many unreliable cars?
Yeah, dude, you have to think for unreliable cars.
Wait, wasn't the Celica pretty reliable? Didn't you say the Celica had like no problems?
Oh, the Celica's outlasting everything.
Yeah, but other than the Celica, you had the Volvo, the Mercedes, the Giulia.
Dude, the Mercedes was so fucking expensive, dude. You told me to have to go and take it for service and like pay like an $1,800 like service bill or whatever.
The Mercedes?
Yeah, it's not like $1,800, but like
I had to get the front brakes done and it was $850.
Oh my god!
What the hell?
Jesus Christ!
Dude, that's probably more than brakes cost for Ruhal's.
I know.
CS6. It's a GM product, right? I bet the brakes are like $20 and change.
Probably.
They just pulled them out of a
differential on the Corvette's cheaper than the front brakes on the Mercedes was.
Oh my god! I did get to drive that car once though, and I do have to admit it was pretty fun. It was very boaty, but it was a very fast boat.
Yeah, it's heavy, but the steering's nice, and the engine was fun.
The transmission was like relatively fun and peppy too.
Yeah, it was okay. It was the 7-speed.
Okay, I think it was the 10-speed for some reason.
No, they went from a 7 to a 9, and I've driven the 9, and it was actually a lot better than the 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the 7, like the early years of the 7, I remember being super problematic in like the E classes.
Well, Well, I did get like the last year of the 7-speed, so I don't think it'd probably have a problem.
Yeah, so you
Well,
were
it had a
probably
different
fine then.
designation. It was like the C450 before it became the
Yeah, that's what I had. It
C403,
was the
right?
C450. It had the C450 for 1 year, and then it switched it to the 43.
That's crazy.
So I drove the 450 and the 43. It's the same car, basically.
Yeah.
They just changed the transmission. The engine's the same. Everything else is the same. And I actually preferred the little bit older, like steering wheel and infotainment and stuff. It became like a huge tablet.
Yeah. I would like Mazda to make an electric car. Well, they do, I think, already, but I heard like it's got massive problems or whatever. But I'd like them, like if I could get like a Mazda 3 hatch, like the one I used to have, like right after I graduated college, but like it's electric. I would love that. I miss that car so much.
I
It
wouldn't
had
be
features.
surprised if Mazda was the next decent sized vehicle manufacturer to go out of business.
I wouldn't either. They've kind of not been hitting lately. Like the last like 3-4 years, I think they've kind of been like on a downslide.
Yeah, they don't know what
Unless
they're
like
doing.
unless the any Miata like is just like completely like reinvigorates the brand, which it's not going to because it's a niche sports car for a niche brand. So it doesn't matter that it's the most.
That's kind of unfortunate, but I think you guys are right. But yeah, I mean, this sucks because Mazda's a good brand.
It sucks
remember-
because the Miata can never die, or I will die.
My parents had a Mazda 3. G had the Mazda 3. They were very nice cars to drive. My parents still have that Mazda 3.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Shravan, you
And-
had a Mazda 3.
I had a Mazda 3. It was my. I loved that car. Like actually, there's
That's
a
kind
lot
of what
things
got you going on everything.
A little bit, yeah. 'Cause, I mean, like, because Mazda is like it's not like entry level enthusiast unless you have a Miata, which doesn't count. But it's like gateway drug to like enthusiast stuff, right?
I just remember
Yeah.
launching it around downtown St. Louis, like in the middle of the night.
I remember doing that too.
Like we would just be like at a red light, and I would just have the brake down, the gas
Yeah.
all the way down, revved out, and then as soon as green, just,
It was great. Those
That
things
thing-
have like
that
pretty
thing was-
decent traction.
Yeah, they were fun, and it was really surprising from a handling too.
yeah,
Oh yeah, it handled great. It handled great. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing is it's really a shame that Mazda doesn't do more. I mean, like I get why they can't, like from a business perspective, but it even sucks that they're not doing more motorsports. Like I think they're pulling one of their prototypes. Like I think they're like this is the last year for one of their prototypes in either like LMP1 or LMP2, and I think they're just withdrawing from motorsport altogether after that, which is really a shame because they have built some of the most like legendary racing machines and like specifically in like the prototype space in the last 15 to 20 years. That's
I
not
went on their
Porsche
website
anyway.
to look at
Yeah.
the EV, and they've got some Adrian Brody looking dude who's like all dressed up, and I'm like, nobody buying a Mazda 3 is going to be like wearing a suit or whatever the Mazda thing's called to drive around this $28,000 car.
Yeah.
Like, what is this marketing? You should just be marketing to like young families.
It's because they got so premium with everything that they basically are entry level luxury. Like I remember
It's
driving.
goofy. They should be advertising their
Yeah.
reliability.
I think you're
safety.
right. I think you're totally right. I think they are having like an identity crisis right now because it's like they were doing the entry level luxury thing, and like in 2017 that worked because it's like, hey, I'm in my Mazda, and it's like, these other seats are nice, they're heated, like you got paddle shifters on the other ones, you got heads up display, like one of the better infotainment systems, and like the little like dash wheel thing. Like I got into it, and it was like punching at the weight of luxury cars easily for $20,000, which I think is crazy. And then they just kind of kept doing that. So when the new generation came out, and I was cross shopping Honda Civic Type R against Hyundai Veloster and against Mazda 3. I remember getting in that car and being like, this is really nice. This feels like literally a luxury car. I don't want this. I bought out to buy a stupid car. Like, this is a good car.
I was there with you. You're like, it's kind of like Shravan in 10 years when I'm like a boring middle-aged man.
Exactly, literally what I said. Yeah, exactly what I said. But the problem is, like, when I'm boring and and that's a good point. I didn't think about this. Like, in 10 years, when I'm boring and middle-aged, I'm not going to want that anymore.
Right.
So it's like, where are they actually going with their brand? And that is a really interesting point. I mean, even the Miata is like the NDs, like it's like when you get them at touring and grand touring tiers, they're incredibly nice. They're very, very nice inside.
Yeah,
I think the
I've
big
heard that. I was kind of like,
with like Mazda is that like I think they spent too much development money on the Skyactiv motors that they
Yeah.
really foresee kind of the electric thing kind of taking over, and I think their mass development into the Skyactiv technology was like their bread and butter, and I think they kind of screwed themselves on that.
Well,
Wow,
that's a good
that's
point.
so strange. When has Miata ever picked the wrong engine to invest money into? This Mazda.
I think the thing is like they didn't expect the overhead to move so quickly into a different
A
direction. If that
favorable
makes
direction.
sense.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's
I think it's between Sky Active and also the fact that they also like it's weird because part of their marketing is still like has like that it's luxury but also a hint of enthusiasm like a driving enthusiast marketing. So
The
they
problem is they're losing market share because the thing is like they're not engaging to drive. That's the issue. And
at
I
all,
think
yeah.
yeah,
Like the only
they
cars
feel
that are engaging with.
absolutely soulless.
They do. They absolutely do. And I think that's what I said to Isaac too in a test trip. Like the 17 Mazda 3 was like very fun. It felt spirited without like actually feeling spirited. It's just you got to like kind of pretend like you got to like drive the van and do the sirens and pretend that you're actually driving fast without having to
and it
actually
was
drive
like
fast.
$3,000 cheaper for the same trim level.
Exactly. Um, whereas the new car, I was like, this is great, but it feels heavier. It feels like more like dense. And I tried even the one in all wheel because I figured like all wheel
The
drive would be
interior
like.
also felt very tight inside.
yeah.
Now that you mention it, it did a little bit.
It's
But
kinda
they do the thing where it's like I think I agree with Ruha with like they developed a lot in Sky Active, but then they draw a lot of that from like appealing to their consumers saying, oh, they keep flirting with we're gonna bring back the rotary engine,
Yeah, like what
we're
are
gonna
they
make an
even doing
RX.
with that? This
Which
has
is
been
kind
like
of
a new
Like who
ridiculous.
cares? The rotary
like,
engine. I don't know why people get a fucking boner for it either. Like
Yeah.
granted I haven't driven one, but like what about it makes it like fun to drive still? It's like or that makes it better. Like it's not. Is it more fun somehow? Like or what is the deal with it? That people
Yeah,
keep like.
I mean, it's a totally different driving dynamic. Like field's different, responds differently, revs super high, and everything. But yeah, I agree. Like I think Mazda, especially now, like competition, in this like nice regular car space is really hard from like Honda and Toyota.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to set themselves apart, and
And now
I
Hyundai.
don't
And now
think a
Hyundai
rotary
too.
engine's not going to do it in the right way.
Yeah,
I think they need to commit to EV and do some cool stuff there.
they're way
I mean,
behind the
Ford
mark
gave up in
though.
that space, and it's looking like a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
What
literally
like the
can
normal
stand.
person car space?
The normal person car space is a Ford Edge now. It's the crossover SUV.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
I mean,
Mazda keeps trying to
I
have
was
their cake and eat it too.
watching. I don't know if you watched like Doug DeMuro, but he reviewed the MX-30. So like their
Yeah,
EV attempt, and it was like super disappointing. Like they've tried
that's
to be
what I heard.
different, but they just didn't do it super well.
And like that's the things I feel like previously they were effortlessly different, and now it's just like they don't have the same stride they had 7 years ago. Like I mean, think to 2015, like the ND is about to come out, then it does come out, and it's like the most incredible Miata ever made. I think right at that point you're getting to the new generation of Mazda 3, which brings in a lot of people and kind of gives them their first ever like sip of what it could be like to drive a fun car. Like they branded themselves on being the manufacturer that was cheap, or they were affordable, that had normal cars, but they were also pretty fun to drive for, you know, yeah, exactly. They had the zoom marketing and it worked really well to them. And if you looked a little bit closely, they were like almost nipping at the heels of luxury brands with like the Grand Touring interiors. And then like, where did we end up? Like,
I'm just
what
looking at
is
this
there going to be now?
MX-30. It's 143 horsepower and only gets 100 miles of range, and it costs like 40 grand.
Yeah, that's like, why would you?
Makes no sense.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, you could just get like a BMW i3 for like half the price.
Yeah.
I don't think BMW even makes that anymore. But you should just get a Mach-E or like a Kona.
Mach-E, yeah, Mach-E.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting the Mach-E exists.
it's nice.
I see it around. Every time I've seen it in person, I'm like, oh, that's actually way more, like, that's way nicer looking than I expected it
I've
to be every time.
ridden in one. Yeah.
Yeah, how's that?
It's nice inside. The tablet's huge. If you like that or not, it's huge, like a Tesla in there. And then the dash is actually really cool. Steering wheel is like the nicest steering wheel Ford's ever made, which I think is important because you're staring right at it the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like the seats are comfortable. The acceleration's solid for like a crossover SUV. The range is good on it. I like the styling on it. So
Man,
I think it's a pretty solid offering.
The old Ford steering wheels are pretty. Well, at least the old Mustang steering wheels were really good, and they also. I miss what I miss. I want them to bring. I really miss the Mustang interior where you had
The leather quality is much higher in the Mach-E.
Okay, well that's fine, but like they had like that like.
Yeah, the really, Mustang, like, the regular Mustang leather's awful. Just get cloth.
Yeah, that's fair. But I just mean like they had that super retro interior, like the wheel is fucking huge, and the speedometer.
I'm a little boy. I want a little boy wheel.
said fucking land speed on it. Like it was all relatively like electronic looking gauges. We weren't like quite at the digital age yet with that.
Shravan, you should go drive a Ram Rebel. You would buy it on the spot with the styling inside. You'd be like, "This is the coolest fucking interior."
It's so American.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I hate trucks, but this thing's really cool."
Cool, yeah.
You'd be
Actually,
rationalizing yourself.
You drive
like, oh my god, I want to buy this. It's fucking stupid.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like, I'm pretty sure after Isaac drove my car, he pretty much got hooked on Vettes.
Yeah.
I mean, he liked him before, but I remember like after he rode in it.
No, I didn't like him that much before.
Oh, okay. Well, I still remember, like, I got to drive Ruhau's car. I was afraid to look at the gas pedal wrong.
It's scary. Even in this, like, the Grand Sport, 460 horsepower, I still was like, this thing's a little crazy. It's a lot more fun than, like, the Boxster or the 911 or whatever.
Remember my experience with the Boxster?
Yeah, he didn't like it at all.
The noise is intoxicating.
Yeah. Especially the current Boxster noise is awful.
Dude, the 723 Boxster S, like I said, it was my first ever like
718
engine. What's that?
718.
718, yeah. 718 Boxster. Sorry, I was watching a show recently. Yeah, the fucking is that like it was my first ever experience with a mid to rear engine vehicle, and it was so disappointing because I just basically had a fucking garbage disposal behind me the whole time.
I feel like, honestly, controversial, but I feel like that's Porsches in general. Like, I drove a 911 and I was so disappointed.
The 911
with the engine note?
Vacuum.
With
the engine note, like it just didn't feel powerful. It just felt slow. The gearbox wasn't that great. Like
the
it was
PDK
manual.
Sucks. Or did you drive it manual?
I drove a manual, but
okay.
I still wasn't. I didn't enjoy it like I always enjoy manuals. I really I don't think there was any part of the 911 that I found properly impressive.
Oh, dude, was it one of the 7 speeds?
Yeah. I believe, aren't they all 7 speeds?
I think they are. They're the last manufacturer that makes 7-speed manual.
I think they upped it to 8.
Yeah.
But also, it's got to be the most boring interior in the price range that you could possibly
get.
There's no occasion with it.
It's not good. It's
Like
boring.
old gray. It's
yeah. You don't spend that kind of money on a car to get like, oh yeah, this is sensible. Like that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interior is literally better in like an 02 Suburban than it was.
Like, well, let's look that far. But yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, at least in an 02 Suburban, it's because it's like rugged. It's like designed to hold up to a beating and it's cheap. But like in a 911, there's just no excuse for it.
Yeah, unless you're gonna spend $50 on the interior to make it like
actually
what it should have been in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, which why
not even exceptional still, but like just acceptable level.
I said acceptable.
I would rather buy an F-Type. Like I love driving the F-Type R. Like that was a blast.
For the Porsche, it actually functions.
Yeah.
Which year R did you drive?
I think it was a 20. Oh yeah, it must have been a 2017 because it was in 2017.
So it was all-wheel drive then.
Yeah, I drove. No, it was rear-wheel drive. Yeah, I drove the S and the R on the same day, and they're like totally different cars.
I think like 2014 and 15. I think I'm getting the years right. Were rear-wheel drive, and then they couldn't hook up at all. It was like a Mustang GT or whatever, and so they were like, "We got to make this all-wheel drive, like 550 horsepower on this crappy thing that doesn't have good
Yeah, I remember that. Like, because the throttle response on that supercharged V8 is so good. So you put your foot down, it immediately puts power out, and then it's like the car squirrels.
Yeah, it sounds really good too.
Sounds amazing. Yeah,
I will say the new F-Types are a lot uglier than the previous generation. It's a major downgrade in my opinion.
Oh, with the narrow headlights.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you hardly ever see them, and I see a decent amount of the previous gen F-Type.
They're kind of easy to look over too. Like they're so
it's
like
not compelling at all.
It's not compelling to look at. It just looks like it looks like if you took a S2000, made it modern looking, and then made it boring. That's what it looks like.
So they don't look that good anymore. The reliability is the worst in the price range. You're paying out the ass for
like I said, you'd enjoy it for the 4 days that it actually ran, right?
Yeah, it's just not a good choice.
Yeah, true.
But it used to look so good that you just like, screw it, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Sounds cool and it looks cool. I'm doing it. But now you don't even get that.
Yeah, that's true.
I was a big fan of that. I wanted an F-Type. Remember how we went and test drove one? You were with me, man. But I drove like the base one, and it wasn't very good.
What? Which car?
The F-Type?
Yeah, F-Type?
Oh, yeah. I remember you hated that thing.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
I drove like the base one, and it was like 60 grand, and I'm like, this is slow at 60 grand.
The base one's not that great, honestly. Like I drove on the same day.
You have to get the R, or maybe the S, but like at least the S. I don't know, but the R is really which it's all about.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
The S, I would say, like the S was about as much fun as a Giulia Quadrifoglio. Yeah, they were like the same level of fun.
And same level of unreliability.
Yes.
Dude, they have a Corvette Grand Sport at the St. Louis CARMAX.
Yeah, there you go. Take your 24-hour test drive. Let's go.
Okay, so this leads into our next segment that Isaac and I were planning. I don't think we ever got to tell you about Viru. So so we were talking about CARMAX test drives because he test drove was it the C8 or was it a
C7? Yeah.
And
black on black.
Right. So he was kind of just giving me like updates on like what he thought about it throughout the day, and then I forget how we got to talking about it, but what we decided what we should do is all of us should test drive, like do the 24-hour test drive from CARMAX for different cars and then review them on here.
True. I would be down to do that. That would be a blast.
You gotta go drive that Grand Sport, man.
I really want to.
Do it.
Go take it down that one road that leads to like where you're gonna get lynched from Missouri.
Dude, that would be so nice. You have to seriously test drive a Grand Sport. It's so good.
Oh, dude, they have a GT350 at O'Fallon.
Oh.
Okay. I've actually ridden a GT350 because my friend Josh, Isaac's friend Josh.
No, that's a GT500.
No. He has a GT350 too.
Oh, okay.
He has a GT500 and a GT350. But the thing is, like, the chassis on the GT350, while it was really good, it's still a Ford Mustang, and it still performs like a Mustang.
Yeah, but Shravan likes a Mustang.
I kind of secretly like the Mustang. Dude, it's in Kansas City, Kansas. But they have an F-Type R in Kansas City, Kansas.
Ooh. Anyways.
Shravan, you gotta go do it, man.
They have a C8!
Oh, who cares? Go drive the Mustang or the Vette. You gotta do one of those.
This is just
C7 Grand Sport.
This is just people taking advantage of the market, isn't it?
Bro, I literally was like nauseous after driving the Grand Sport. How I drove it. It's like the car's ridiculous.
Naperville, Illinois has an LC500.
What? At CARMAX? Who the hell buying an LC500?
At CARMAX? Who the fuck takes their LC500 to CARMAX and it's like, here we go.
I'm just waiting for a Ferrari California to show up at CARMAX and then it's mine.
Jeez.
And then it's mine for 24 hours.
No, I'm trying to get that warranty on it.
Right. Bumper to bumper.
No way I'm getting a Ferrari and that.
Isaac was very impressed with their $3,000 or like their $2,000 warranty that covers basically everything with a $300 deductible. It was insane.
Yep.
It is insane.
Dude, how many people are trading in their C8s? Do people really not like it that much?
No, I think they're just making a ton of money on it.
Oh, that's true. Here's a
3LT
for 102,000.
Probably got 10 grand of upside in selling your C8.
Oh yeah.
You gotta go drive that Grand Sport, man. I'm telling you, just go drive
Yeah,
that. Don't
yeah,
do the
okay.
Mustang, because don't worry about the manual with the high horsepower. Just stick to your little Veloster in and go drive the Grand Sport. And take the fucking roof off when it's 25 degrees. It's fine.
It's fine.
True.
It's fine.
Just turn the seat heaters on and the heat up.
But here's the thing: how often do you let me do that? Because what I have to do, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to find an F-150 and then I'm going to borrow it for 24 hours to haul my furniture that I need to.
I love it.
If I do that,
I
I will still come back to the podcast and give you my detailed review on how an F-150 hauls my TV stand or whatever the fuck.
I feel like we need to just leave that as a cliffhanger now.
That's our cliffhanger. What will I test drive?
This F-150 was great. It would be great for hauling my stuff, but you know what? I actually hauled all my stuff already, so
I don't need it anymore.
don't need it.
It was so good, I didn't even need it.
Maybe
I didn't see it coming.
Ruhao, are you gonna CarMax 24 hours something for the show?
Okay, to be honest with you, I was actually really thinking about doing that with the Ford ST the Explorer ST until I test drove one for an hour, and then I realized this was a fucking horrible car. I was like, no, thank you.
I think Ruhao is one that he has to go test drive for 24 hours from CarMax as a Miata.
Is it Miata?
Yes.
Oh my god! I think I
A
was
day in the life of
Like take the
Shravan.
roof off and just be like wide open throttle and like first gear screaming, "Why is it so slow?" Like just like rolling down like Seattle.
Make
my
sure
God.
it's the ND2 though, so you can just have it like all the way up to 7,300 RPMs.
Oh my god!
It's a good
Actually,
idea.
it's. I think that would physically hurt me inside. I think I would get gout from that and not even drink a sip of like freaking alcohol.
You're gonna end up back in the hospital with kidney failure.
Exactly. I think I would get brain cancer literally from that.
It actually cured Shravan's kidney failure, so maybe it'll work out.
It did, yeah. It wasn't
Oh
the
my
IV
God.
or anything. It was.
Watch
Drew,
Shravan
what's your
go to the
CarMax car you're
bathroom and then
driving
his
in
mic
India?
is on and we're just gonna hear him pissing.
Oh, true.
Drew, what CarMax car are you driving in India?
All right, here. When I get back, let's see. I don't know what's gonna be interesting. What do I want to drive when I get back? I feel like I've driven like a ton. I think a Corvette might actually be it.
Have you not driven a Corvette?
Yeah, because I've never driven a Corvette, but I've driven like pretty much everything else.
You're the kind of guy that'll end up with a C3.
Yes.
Ooh, is he really good?
100%. I am that guy. Yeah. I'm like,
You're hanging out with all the grandpas, like, what's up, guys?
That's literally how it
I need a
was.
house.
That was literally what it was when I had my Mercedes. Like it was, because I was the only guy.
Oh, absolutely! You're the only person under the age of 75 who drove that SL. I guarantee you.
Yes, 100%. Like there was so many people who were like confused seeing like young brown guy driving that car around.
Nathan was so excited for you to have
flying down
that,
the highway at like 100 miles an hour in Mexico.
Nathan was
That
so
car did
excited
not
that
reach-
you had that car, bro. I'm telling you.
Okay, I keep
That
you guys
SL
not.
reached neither 100 miles per hour nor Mexico.
It did if you gave it enough space. Like I think it topped out at like 115.
I'm only like actually 3 hours from Mexico.
You know what's crazy, guys? I'm not even kidding. A lot of the actual owners of some of the fastest Corvette and Camaro builds up here in Seattle are all brown dudes. I'm not even kidding.
I believe that. 100%.
Yep, I gotta keep up with my people.
Damn straight.
Okay, but
You
we
gotta get a
can't all-
Camry, an Odyssey, or a Corvette.
we can't
With
all
no
three be
middle
driving
ground.
Corvettes for this.
Yes, we can. We're all gonna give our opinion.
Yeah, I like that plan. I think we got to do that. We got to.
I can't believe the CarMax by Ruhau had a 1,000 horsepower Corvette.
True.